The lawyer didn't expect me to laugh. He slid the paper across the table like it was routine. Flat tone, clean font, signature line waiting. My clients just need this signed. My parents. 2 years. No calls. No birthdays. No holidays. Nothing. And this was how they came back. Through a lawyer. I picked up the document, read the first line, then the second. By the time I reached the bottom, I had to press my lips together, because I was about to laugh. The lawyer leaned forward slightly. Is everything all right? I looked at the paper again. They needed my signature to sell my grandfather's lakehouse, the only place that had ever felt like mine. I let out a small laugh. Not loud, just enough. Because what they didn't know was that this document wasn't taking anything from me. It was exposing them, and they had no idea. I set the paper down slowly. That's interesting, I said. The lawyer frowned slightly. I'm sorry? I looked at him. I think there's been a misunderstanding. He sat back. Pen paused, waiting. And for a second, I almost told him. Almost ended it right there. But I didn't. Because this didn't start in that room. It started years before that. And if I was going to finish it, I was going to finish it. Properly. I didn't grow up in a house that looked broken. From the outside, everything was right. Church every Sunday. Dinner at the table. Smiles when people were watching. But inside things were always uneven. My sister needed more. That was the explanation for everything. More attention, more support, more patience. So she got piano lessons. I got told maybe next year. She got a car. I got a job application. She got space. I learned how to shrink. My father used to say, "You're the strong one." He said it like it meant something good. I carried that for years, until I understood what it really meant. Strong meant I didn't ask. Strong meant I didn't complain. Strong meant I didn't need anything, which made me easy. Easy to ignore. I worked early, paid for what I needed, stopped expecting help. And slowly, without realizing it, I became invisible. There were moments that should have woken me up. One of them was graduation. I invited them, reserved seats, checked my phone all morning. They didn't come. My sister needed help moving. That mattered more. I stood there in a cap and gown, looking out at rows of families, and realizing mine wasn't there. I told myself it was fine, that it didn't matter. That I understood. But something cracked that day, not loudly, just enough. I met my husband a few years later. He wasn't impressive in the way my parents valued, no big title, no polished image, but he showed up, every time. He worked long days, built his own business, said what he meant. That was enough for me. When my father met him, he didn't hide his opinion. I thought you'd aim higher, he said it casually, like it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. My husband didn't argue, didn't react. Later in the car, he said, I don't need his respect. But you should have it. That stayed with me. Still, I didn't walk away. Not yet. Because leaving a family isn't one decision. It's a series of realizations. And the last one came at Christmas. The house was full. Voices everywhere. Plates, laughter, noise. My sister pulled me aside. She needed money. 5,000. Not the first time. I said no. Calm. Clear. Final. She walked back into the room crying, and everything changed. My father stood up immediately. What kind of sister refuses to help family? Loud, public, sharp. Then my mother added, she hasn't been right lately. Not loud, but loud enough. 15 people in that room. No one spoke. I looked around. And for the first time I saw it clearly. Not one person was going to stand up for me. Not one. I didn't argue, didn't defend myself. I just put on my coat and left. That was the last time I saw them. The silence after that wasn't peaceful. At first, it was loud. Questions, doubt, second-guessing everything. Did I overreact? Was I too harsh? Was I the problem? And then the stories started. Not from me, from them. I heard it through people, through distance, through silence. I was unstable. My husband was controlling. I had changed. That became the narrative, and it spread. Slowly, quietly, effectively. People stopped calling, stopped checking in, stopped asking. Because once a story is simple, enough people accept it. I could have fought it, explained everything, defended myself, but I didn't, because something in me was tired, not angry, just done. So I left. New town, new job, new life, and slowly things became quiet, not empty, just calm. Still, every once in a while I'd wonder, did I make a mistake? That question stayed longer than I wanted. Until the letter came. It arrived on a normal morning. Plain envelope, law firm name in the corner. My name typed cleanly across the front. I knew before opening. This wasn't casual. I left it on the counter for a full day. Then another, because once I opened it, something would change. On the third day, I sat down and opened it. One page. Direct. Professional. They wanted my signature. To sell the lakehouse. That was the first contact in 2 years. Not, how are you? Not, we miss. Just sign here. I read it once, then again. And something inside me shifted. Not hurt, not anger, clarity. They didn't come back for me. They came back for what they love. Needed. I stood up, walked to the shelf, and picked up the envelope I had never opened. My grandfather's handwriting was still there. For Paige. I held it for a moment, then opened. Inside a letter, and a legal document. The letter was simple. This house is yours. I read it again, slower. Then I looked at the document. Irrevocable trust. Filed years. Before he passed. Everything became very quiet. The house had never been theirs. Not even for a moment. It had always been mine. I sat there and let that settle. Every doubt I had carried. Years started to fall away. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't unstable. I wasn't difficult. I was just the one who stopped saying yes. I went to the meeting, not because I had to, but because I wanted to see it. My father was already there. Same posture, same control, like nothing had changed. He didn't ask about me, didn't mention the past, just pushed the paper. Forward. Let's not make this complicated. That line again. Always that line. I let him speak, explain, justify. Then I opened my folder. Placed the trust document on the table. Everything stopped. The lawyer read it first. Then again. My father didn't understand at first. Then he did. And when he did, something broke. Not loudly, but clearly. There was nothing left to take. Because it had never been his. I stood up, collected my things, and walked out. No argument, no raised voice, no scene. Just done. A week later, I went back to the lake house, alone, unlocked the door, walked inside. Same smell, same light, same quiet. I walked down to the dock, sat in the chair my grandfather built, and for the first time I didn't feel like I was trying to belong. I just did, because someone had already decided I mattered, before I ever had to prove it. 2 years ago, my parents sent me a document. They thought it would take something from me. But all it really did was remind me that I was never the one without power. I just hadn't used it yet.